Welcome everybody. Boy Travis here. JP is out. He's got a school event to be at. So he messaged me and said, "Hey, you think you want to record something early and not do a live show?" I was like, "Well, Boomer 129 is going to be real upset if he can't comment the whole time on the video. We've got to go live." He said, "Man, why don't you grab somebody to co-host with you?" And we've been going back and forth in the DMs for a long time. Uh, he actually agrees with a lot of my Texas takes, but he can't say it on the timeline.
Oh,
He just DMs me and he's like, "Hey, I think you're right about that, but I can't say anything." So,
not sure what's
um,
happened.
anyways, welcome. I'm gonna give you a chance to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit of your story, uh, and uh, and yeah, go ahead, bro.
Well, all right, guys. This is the first time I guess a lot of you have seen me in the flesh. I'm confirmed not a ghost. I have hands, the whole thing. A little bit of my story. I started the old Twitter thing in 2021. We lost to Kansas. I was like, this is not fun. How can we make this a little bit easier to process and to stomach? And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play on to our program being a bit dead because we kind of were. I mean, those second halves in 2021 they were tough. I never wavered in my love for Sark postseason, and I think so. My account kind of got a little bit of recognition because I was very adamant and how confident I was in Steve Sarkisian and where our program was going, and I didn't think 2 years later we'd be in the playoffs. But yeah, so after that, man, I am probably known as one of the nicer Texas fans. I get a lot of people telling me that I'm too nice to Aggies, too nice to Sooners. I've had 100 of those DMs over the last couple of years in from Texas fans, and I'm just I don't like the Ags. I don't like the Sooners. But there's a lot of good people on both sides, and the relationships over the last 2.5 years just through Twitter, man. I never expected any of it. It's really cool. The interactions. Thank you guys so much. It's been a fun process, and excited to see what happens with it all, man. Thank you, Travis, very much for having me on and give me a chance to come out here and talk a little ball with you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of funny because every once in a while, I'll tweet out you know, to my Texas friends, I know they're going to blah blah blah, and like I'll start with that, and they're like, "Texas friends? How can somebody have any Texas friends? They're a bunch of losers that are this, that, and the other." And I'm like, guys, I, there are losers in every fan base. There are losers in our fan base
Absolutely.
because fan bases are not built on not built on, hey, if you're cool, you get to root for this college. That's just not how it goes. They're
Absolutely.
built on geography for the most part. So you're gonna have losers everywhere. So, anyways, glad to have you. Um, we're off to the SEC. I'm so excited,
Days away, brother. Hours
and
away.
yeah, super excited. Are you going to be doing anything? Like, what are they doing in? What are they going to be doing in Austin? Pitbull's
I
coming,
thought
I guess.
I thought you were coming, man. I thought you were riding down with Pitbull, and we were going to do a whole thing, but apparently not. So yeah, we're doing the Celebration Sunday in Austin. Apparently it's going to be a whole day ordeal. Doing a little bit of a golf thing Monday through Wednesday, so I'm trying to time it up right to where I can get in there and have a little fun, party hard, say hello. Definitely want to see Austin at night. Everybody excited, the fireworks and everything. Um, yeah, man, it's going to be kind of weird. So I guess technically we're not in the SEC until the first. Is that correct?
Yeah, until
So
Monday.
we're gonna be like SEC, but but still a few hours away. So, but what about the Sooners? What do y'all got going up in Norman?
Monday, we're
Okay.
actually, ironically, Boomer Sooner. Usually, the Sooners are the ones to jump the gun early, so we really should be doing the Sunday, the Sunday party. But we'll let you guys have that. Um, I'm sure the jokes will be made that, of course, those Sooners, don't have work, so Monday they can party all day. Those,
I,
those jokes will be out there, I promise you. But
I might have seen one or two already, to be honest, but
right, right. So, anyways, we're doing the Mouth of the South. Paul Feinbaum's going to be coming, doing his show from our stadium that day. Got a lot of cool guests coming to town for that. We've got just a party in the stadium. We're doing we do like I don't know if you guys do this, but like an equipment sale, like extra equipment, all that stuff that you collect kind of from the year. They all do one big sale in the track facility.
Yeah, I've seen it out there at times. Yes, sir.
So they're doing that. They're doing that on Monday as well. Yeah, I'll be going down, and I've actually got the President's Gala that evening. There's a OU, the SEC Gala black tie thing that night that I'll be going to. But super excited to get down for it. We'll be doing radio at Balfour there on Campus Corner. It's going to be a blast. But old Jonathan Rosenauer has already asked, is this a Schloss trash channel? And it is very difficult. I've never talked about Jim Schloss Nagel this much, but it's very hard not to say slosh.
It's a hard thing to say. It's a lot.
It's just a tough name.
I've practiced many times today just because, I mean, like I want to say it, even if I'm talking to someone, just a friend at a bar, like it's not as easy to say as I thought it'd be. And I'll stick with Schloss, and we'll put a lot of emphasis on the S's at the end just to make sure we're getting it right. But no, I didn't come here to bash or trash my current head coach at the University of Texas, arguably the greatest baseball program of all time. I don't have a negative thing to say about the guy, to be honest with you.
Well, when I said that, because there was a couple A&M fans, because I called out, obviously, Casey Bart from Barstool about how she, came at OU fans for not, for needing to grow up. Lincoln Riley just took another job, and she's going on these rants, calling him a snake, calling him a fraud, calling him a liar, all this stuff. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, so I put something up. Well, Aggies started arguing with me, and they're like, you don't get it. He went from one rival to the other. It's not the same as Lincoln Riley leaving. I'm like, okay, rivalry aside, Lincoln Riley went from a blue blood to a blue blood. I said, Schloss went from just a laughing stock of an athletic department, the most underachieving athletic department in the country. Not a single national title in men's major sports in 85 years. Went from that to, at a minimum, a top 3 baseball program all time.
Agreed.
So it's like, when I said that, I was like, oh, God, OU fans are going to find this. But luckily, it was down far enough in the thread that I was like, it pains me to say this, but Texas does have, didn't help them in the Big 12 this year. But and I will say, I'm glad that Arkansas, OSU, Texas, and Oklahoma all got knocked out in the regionals, because I didn't want to hear from any of those fan bases.
Absolutely,
you guys got to deal with Aggies, but they don't typically bark up the OU tree. But all those other ones, man, I was so glad they got knocked out.
I'd let me address something with old Aggie baseball real quick, if that's okay. A lot of talk on my timeline about the jinx that I put in on the Aggies, and I'm gonna be very honest with you, man. Back in March, like watching them play, seeing their lineup, with Jace Braden, they're loaded top to bottom. And I meant every damn word in the beginning when I thought saying that they would win the national. They were loaded, man, loaded. And I really was, day by day, I felt like getting a little weaker inside, because it felt like that title, it was inevitably coming, man. And so they win game 1, and I had some great tweets lined up to just bury that jinx in the draft. And then, Tennessee rallies in game 2. And it's like, okay, well now, like, I almost for a half second wanted them to win game 2, just because I was so ready to just laugh at myself. But then the moment Buddy for Tennessee hit a 2-run bomb, just nuked that to take the 1-run lead, I was like, all right, I know where my heart really is. I know where we're back straight. Everything's aligned again. Just like everything in Austin right now, we're aligned, baby. We're trending. We're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, everything in Austin, I don't know. Maybe not everything in Austin, but I do want to touch on that. Speaking of everything in Austin, because I have been obviously critical of Quinn Ewers, which I think is warranted. I think it's warranted. We'll get to that. But I think everybody's missing one specific thing about Texas when they talk about it. Everybody's saying, okay, Georgia and Texas are the clear 1 and 2. Georgia, Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State are the only 4 teams that can win the Natty this year, blah, blah, blah. That's all we're hearing. My issues are you were bad on the back end of the defense last year compared to the rest of the team. And you were bad on the defense. You were bad on the back end of the defense despite having the best defensive line duo in the country, like the best defensive line duo possible in the country. You have literally the Outland Trophy winner for the best lineman either side of the ball. And then you have the, first round pick in Murphy. And you guys haven't replaced that with it. Like, you can't replace that. Like, you can't. It's like OU softball. Like, you're not going to find another Jada Coleman, another Tiare Jennings. It just is what it is. You're not going to find another Kinsey Hansen. You're not going to find them. And you're not going to find another Sweat and another Murphy. But when you struck out, when UCLA guy went back after everybody thought, hey, Texas is going to sign this interior defensive tackle. And then when we money whipped you for Dominic Williams, like, what's the interior of that defensive line going to look like? And is the back end improved? Is Texas's defense getting too much credit right now based on last year's success?
If I had to be, if that's a yes or no question, I would lean more towards yes. I've seen a lot of people projecting a top 10, even higher defense, overall team defense, that is. And I'm a positive fan. I'm optimistic, but at the same time, we went through some dark times. They stick with me, So I still have slight reservations as far as like, hey, we're not going to go in there and just maul the SEC. I've never thought that. We're never just going to go in there and shut people down in that conference. I've never thought that. But it's like, do we have the run defense, in my opinion? Everything gets so much easier once you stop the run. And so, like you're saying, when you lose a Byron Murphy, who was an absolute bulldog, and I would never want to stand in front of that man for 3 hours. Like, good Lord. Even if he's only getting half the snaps during that time, just forget about that. And then you're talking about a mountain of a man and Tavondre. And so you don't replace that. You get better with the rest of your defense. We will be better on the edges. We will be better at linebacker, which will alleviate some of the drop off at the defensive tackle spot. We do have a few more bodies, I think, that we'll be able to rotate out throughout this year. But at the same time, man, like I do have nerves. I'm a big fan. I do want us to compete in the SEC, and I know that if we're going to go do that and take advantage of what should be a really good offense, like, we're going to have to stop the run, and we're going to have to do it and do it often. We get Georgia at home, and if we want any part of taking Georgia down, that's priority one, man. Like, they get into their play action game, and all of a sudden that they look a lot more deadly. They've been deadly for years, and then even go backwards to the Michigan game. Michigan is going to make Texas prove early in the season that we can stop the run. I think they will try everything. They'll run zones, they'll probably run counters. They'll use the entire hash to hash. They're going to make Texas show that we can stop the run game. That's Michigan football in general, but I'm excited, man. I think that Kenny Baker's a new guy in Austin that we're excited to see what he's got. People think that we've fallen off from Bo Davis. Time will tell, man. I really we need more bodies, like yourself, like you said, y'all took Dominic. Well, however you took him, and it's very important to have that player, and it's very hard to find in the portal, and so that was a huge win for you guys. As hard as that is to say out loud, that was an impressive still.
That's all right. This is only on YouTube. It's fine. And this is the first time I think anybody's seen your face, so you can just claim it's somebody else's. You were posing as Ghost of Texas football. I'm interested. I'm really interested about that Michigan game because Michigan lost so much. So much. They lose a first-round pick or a first-round quarterback, right? They lose one of the best coaches in America in just across all football, right? Been successful in the pros, successful at the highest level in college. Like, he did it with really just running around through Ohio State. So it's interesting to see. I like Sharon Moore a lot, obviously OU guy, but I don't know. I think Texas is getting Michigan at the exact time you want to get
Absolutely.
Michigan. I mean,
Yeah.
in the last 4 years, probably, I would say post COVID, this is the best time to get Michigan. It's early, and I mean, it's after they lost head coach and quarterback, really. And I know a lot of people, me being a Vikings fan, I'm a big JJ McCarthy guy. I wanted JJ McCarthy long before, he was even projected to us or anything like that. Like I said, like I want JJ as a Viking. It happened. I'm stoked. But I think they'll notice his loss more. A lot of people are like, oh, it was just the run game and the defense. He didn't really need to do anything. It's like,
No.
I don't know, man. Like he needed to make some third down throws. He needed to make some big plays. He needed to extend some plays. Like he's a winner. He's always been a winner. So we'll see. I am interested about that game. The other one. This is an evergreen topic. It has been for over a year now, right? I do think I've been very critical of Quinn. I think the stats show that he struggles on the deep ball. He gets a little happy feet in the pocket. He's had the best skill talent around him that you can ask for. Fastest guy in NFL draft history. A guy that should have been a first round pick in Mitchell. Whittington, JT Sanders, one of the top running back, if not the top running back off the board. Doak Walker semifinalist before he got hurt. 5 stars all across the offensive line. A championship play caller in Steve Sarkisian. And he can't finish in the top 10 in QBR nationally with all those weapons. And he's a generational prospect. Like, doesn't make sense to me. So my question, now that I've dumped all over Quinn, do you think Arch takes his job this year?
I do not think that Arch takes Quinn's job. The only way that I could see that playing out, and God forbid we run into this situation again, but is if Quinn were to go down and miss, I'd say, 3+ weeks to where Arch can really get in there, get comfortable. And of course he's going to have to look good, which I'm confident in Arch's growth so far from everything that we hear and that we see, which we've seen very little, but we're excited about it. But I do expect Quinn to take another jump. He took a massive jump from 21 to 22, 22 to 23. And I'm expecting a little bit more of a leap. Now, I do share the same sentiment as you. Like I have concerns with the deep ball. There's times where the footwork's a little sloppy. If Quinn's dialed and Quinn's in, he's about as good as any college prospect out there at the quarterback position. I mean, he really is. But that consistency, man, is something that he's really going to have to improve on. And with Sark being the guy that's right there, every step of the way with him, of course I'm going to have faith because I'm a massive Sark advocate, huge believer in the man. But yeah, I do agree with you in that there's a lot of room for improvement. But I wouldn't say that Arch is going to take his job unless we see something injury related again, God forbid.
Is there, I guess I hadn't considered it lately. Are there people in Austin that are concerned about, has Quinn got the label of injury prone yet? I mean, he hasn't played every game of a season yet, but
right.
I mean, has anybody used those terms with him, injury prone, or is it just, hey, look,
I've definitely seen, Twitter accounts, shout out Inside Texas. I'm a member, I'm a fan. People have brought up the potential, there's other adjectives and words they've used to describe what Quinn may be as far as injury prone, sometimes we talk about being made of glass and other things. And, if you track his career and go back to high school, it's a concern. And, just that's mine personally. I say that I'm not speaking for Texas football or anyone else. I definitely worry every time he takes a little bit of a hit back there, man. And so when y'all are over there just cheap shotting my guy left and right in the first quarter while y'all getting down, I can't wait for that game, man. It's gonna be fun getting back at y'all.
Yeah, Yeah, the Ethan Downs, giving him a piece of his mind. That made for a hell of a photo. That's for sure.
It
Made
is
for
a
a
great
hell of a
photo,
photo.
man. It's great for the rivalry, brother. It's,
Yeah,
some good ones in there.
Yeah, made a hell of a Yeah, and Quinn, I mean, we saw it in the Washington game. If it's like throwing like mid-level type passes, short timing
Intermediate,
passes,
yeah,
he's incredible.
yeah.
It's only the deep ball I have concern with, and the numbers and tape back that up. But
No, absolutely.
it's and I will forever. I think it was either you or Nash Talks Texas, which love Nash. I give him more shit than anybody
I've seen you on
on
him
Texas
before. Yeah.
Twitter, but he's passionate. Love the guy, but like it was either you or him that took the screenshot of the last play of the game where Mitchell's open if you just throw it to the pylon, like and it was a screenshot of the ball was lofted, and there was a circle of like if you throw it right here, the game is over. Why is Quinn throwing the ball in the air? And some of those decisions, like you said, he'll look at the film. It is what it is. But I forget which one of you. I feel like it was one of you two.
It was Nash. I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I mean, like,
I've got that screenshot saved.
Yeah, I mean, Nash is so great in football season, baseball season with video and everything, and uploading game film and the full game. And he's up in the middle of the night doing that. And so yeah, I'm quite certain if it was of the two of us, it would have been Nash, because I was in a lot of pain that night and for a few days after, for a few reasons, and I did not want anything to do with clips or replays, highlights, any of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when talking about the OU Texas game, I thought it was interesting because, I mean, I would argue that Quinn didn't really get a lot of criticism nationally for that game. Did you see it? I mean, I guess I was in a different wavelength after that game than you guys probably were. Did you guys see a lot of national criticism after that, or was it just
the turnovers?
Yeah, the 3 turnovers.
Right. No, I mean, there's definitely. I mean, you got. I mean, when I first got my account, like I was just following everybody and everyone that followed me back, and then I see it, anybody posting it, and so like I don't know probably half the accounts that I follow as far as I'm searching them out to find their opinion, and so I see all types of stuff in there, man, and those are the ones I'll normally try to get rid of. I mean, it's OU jumped on us early, man. I mean, from the literal first play of the game. I mean, and there was definitely a lot of comments from some of our side. I mean, that's just such a large fan base, and you know how it is, man. That game's so important. I mean, it doesn't take much to get Texas fans riled up there. Not saying we should be on our guy, but yeah, there was definitely chatter about Quinn and about the turnovers, and a lot of people did talk about how he got hot. That was the argument on our side. People 3 turnovers, and then he completed like 248 passes in a row in a losing effort. I'll give it to you. But yeah, so no, he got real hot. But yeah, those turnovers.
He did the same thing with Washington, though, for the most part, right? Like, didn't he catch fire in the Washington game? Like for I guess late, because he led the comeback.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was
running
real late. Yeah,
hold on to the ball, then you guys win that game. Really,
absolutely.
But
the fact that we got into go ahead. Sorry.
No, Quinn plays. I feel like for stretches, like Quinn is the NBA jam of quarterbacks. Like he's on fire. Like Quinn will just 20 passes, where he looks like, all world. Yeah. And then, but is it a bad start? Is it a bad finish? Is it turnovers? But I mean, that's what it was so funny. I don't think I've told you the story. So before the game, like in the Cotton Bowl in the press box, like you're by the agents, like they serve barbecue up there. Everybody's kind of sitting together, or not agents, but scouts. So okay. I see a guy and I recognize him. He's a Viking scout, and he's got his Vikings hat on and whatnot. I was like, hey, good to meet you. Big fan. I'm just curious, who are you guys here to see? If you can tell me. He's like, a quarterback, 2 tackles, and a wide receiver. And I was like, Quinn, Xavier, Kelvin Banks, and Tyler Guyton. He's like, yep. I'm like, I said, all right, this guy's not draft eligible yet, but keep an eye out for a young guy named Gentry Williams. And the scout's like sitting in the row behind us. So I'm up front, and he jumps that pass, comes down with it, and I just kind of look over my shoulder, and he kind of gave me that like, and then like wrote something down. I was like,
how cool did that feel, man? First play of the game.
I talked to Gentry afterwards. I was like, hey, thanks for making me look super smart. I appreciate that, because if you would have not done anything all game, I would have felt like an idiot. But
I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, like, I've not missed but a few of those games in the last 25 years, and the butterflies and nerves, the anxiety, all pregame. I mean, it's an unmatched feeling for me, and I'm sure for most of us. And it's never changed. You know, it's the same. Even if I know we're going to get our teeth kicked in, like, you know, say 2011. Good Lord, and you know, if I know it's all the same anxiety. And you know, we get to football, which I didn't like really. I wanted to kick to y'all, because obviously we're going to have the ball down on your end of the field, and be in the middle of your chaos. And just, you know, there's a roar as we're running the play, the ball's picked off, and it's just like a lid blows off. And I was just like, here we go. It's about to be a mad day. It's not going to be 49-0. It's not going to be, you know, 17-point win, which I think I may have predicted on Twitter. But yeah, I knew we were in for chaos right there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and it had everything, right? Like, had the big special teams play with the block kick, right?
Yeah.
Which that was a freshman, wasn't it? It wasn't Malik Muhammad?
Man, I believe so, man. I think I'm feeling pretty confident about that. That it's all just a blur, man. And with all due respect, I've watched the replay one time, so
you watch it again, man. It's good. You love it.
I love ball, man. It's a great game, but it's hard.
But even like the Billy Bowman putting his helmet on the ball, knocking that out, like just dramatic plays. Like it was movie script for sure. I mean, that game stays like that though. Obviously the Caleb Williams year, you know, the COVID year was crazy. It's
55-48 triple overtime. Yeah. We don't get many overtime games. So, I mean, it stunk. It was in an empty stadium, but yeah, I mean, we're on a run of really good football games in the Red River rivalry. I mean, how many one-score games have we played? Does it date all the way back to the Big
outside of the Asterisk game? We understand that. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about it, man. That was a tough spot for y'all. A tough spot for y'all. I think about the losses more than the wins, unfortunately. So,
old Gage says if you turn it off before the last OU drive, it's not too bad. I like that.
Gage is awesome.
I like Gage. That is a glass half full kind of guy. That's my type of guy right there. It was funny because I had to get back to the Omni to do post-game radio. I do the pregame, post-game show. Yeah. So I actually started leaving before OU got the ball back. So I start leaving, and I'm like behind the Texas radio booth, because like the way the press box is, it's like press box all down the left side, and then you got to walk, and it's like you got to go by the radio booth and then leave. So I basically watched from like through the window of the Texas radio booth as the end was happening. Oh my gosh. I wish other people would have had that perspective, because it was a wild perspective.
I can imagine it's a little euphoric for you, probably.
Well, it's
remember that one for a while.
You're like not supposed to celebrate in the press box, so I was just like had to get in the stairwell and just start losing my mind. It was nuts. Sure. But back to a little more, we'll call it bipartisan night of the debate. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in to us instead of watching a couple geriatrics call each other stupid. Here you can watch two younger guys call each other stupid about their football opinion.
Hate you, bro.
All right. So where would you set the over-under on combined SEC titles, and then we can go into which, but combined SEC titles in the next decade?
This is brilliant.
And I want the comments to let us know. Is it 1.5? Is it 2.5? I mean,
Kirby Smart and Georgia aren't going anywhere for a while.
Right, but you've got teams, but the SEC, you can have one dominant for a while, but
I'm just
everybody on your setting the under and over, it's easier if you do a 0.5
of
on it.
course.
So on your over unders, include a 0.5 in football laced up.
Let's go. I've got my answer for you, and
Okay, so I'm trying to think because you've got. It's just so weird because Florida has won multiple national titles since 2000, and they're dog water right now. Missouri has always been dog water, but they win 10 games last year. Ole
right.
Miss has always been dog water, but they win 10 games last year. You've got Tennessee, who looked real big under hype, beat Alabama, last second field goal, nuts. And then now they kind of fell back to earth a little bit. You've got Auburn. I mean, Cam won them a national championship, but they're recruiting like crazy right now, and they went heavy in the transfer portal. Alabama under Kalen DeBoer. I mean, the dude's just won everywhere he's been. And now he's got more talent than he's ever had. Jalen Milroe obviously has questions, but I mean, it's tough because the SEC is such an ebb and flow type situation. Like if you take your foot off the gas, you're liable to have 2 or 3 bad seasons in a row.
Exactly that.
Or if you make one wrong hire, and that's one thing. Like Josh Pate, when he was talking about the coaching extensions the other day, when Venables got an extension, and he was like, if there's one program that I'm not going to question when it comes to coaching hires, it's going to be Oklahoma, because the same people that hired Stoops, the same people that hired Riley, are the same people that hired Venables. Like, it's kind of like if you get a Billy Napier, or if you get a Charlie Strong, or if you get a, whoever, name your coach. If you get one of these guys, it's like you could be cooked for a while, and life comes at you very quickly. So I think we got some good answers in the chat. What say you? What would you set the over under at for SEC titles combined in the next decade?
In the next decade, I'm going to roll with 2.5. I think that there's opportunity for that over to get there, but at the same time, man, I feel like saying too much higher of a total it might get us in a little bit of trouble, man. There's like you said, KDB rolls around everywhere, every stop he's at, and just absolutely crushes it. Bama's recruiting with a frenzy right now. They're doing everything they can to keep it going, and you can't blame them. Obviously, they want to keep it rolling. Georgia's not going anywhere. Same thing. Freeze is going to get dudes. That's what Hugh Freeze does. He's going to recruit. He's going to have a high flying, fun offense. They're going to score some points eventually. We'll see what Thorne looks like, but for as far as the decade, man, I think I'd be pretty firm on 2.5. I think I might even not make it even odds, so do maybe a little minus 150 on that over 2.5, a little plus 125, plus 130 on the under. But where are you at?
Yeah, I was going between 2.5 and 3.5. We've got more conference titles than any program in college football history. So from my perspective, and a lot of those were won while being in the same conference as the second most in history in Nebraska. So it's conference titles, we've been in good shape. And really OU has been, and I guess with Southwest Conference, you could say basically the same thing. Like OU and Texas have both been best when they're in good conferences. Like I really get annoyed by this, in my opinion, total fallacy that, OU has just been good because they played in a weak conference. Texas, made it through the weak Big 12 to get to the playoff, whatever, right? Like, the problem is, I'll compare it to restaurants. I do this often.
Okay.
It's when you're slow and you don't have a lot of tables, it's easy to, if you're in the kitchen, you're like, I'll go out for, somebody goes out for a cigarette, somebody goes to prep some food, and you don't pay attention to the printer. So you miss, when you look at negative reviews for restaurants, so many of them say, I was the only table in there and my food took forever. Because it's easy to get distracted when you're not busy, when you're not focused, dialed in, right?
Right.
I think the tougher the schedule, like the mid-2000s Big 12, when, OU and Texas were competing for national championships regularly. I mean, you've got obviously 05 for you guys, 04 for us, 08 for us, 09 for you guys, 2000 for us. Like
08.
you've got all these national title appearances between the two of us, and then the conference, the powers really shift to the SEC, right? Or at least the best players and whatnot, and it's the Big 12 kind of falls off a little bit. All of a sudden, we aren't going to national championships anymore. But since 2000, 5 different SEC teams have won a national championship, and 4 of them have won multiple. So I think OU and Texas are going to be dialed in to the SEC play. Everybody said, well, the SEC grind. All right, well, A&M in their first year did fine with the SEC grind. Mizzou in their first year did fine with the SEC grind. And neither of those teams are anywhere close to as talented as OU and Texas are as they enter the league. So,
true.
I just think there's something to be said for staying engaged in your schedule and not letting a Kansas or an Iowa State, jump up and get you. What do you think?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's obviously we both now been jumped up and grabbed by Kansas. I mean, y'all might have lost to a little bit of a better Kansas team, but
a little bit. They were ranked at the end of the.
I got a lot of mess for picking Kansas in that game, fresh off of y'all's win over Texas. Everybody just told me I was a hater, but
that was a tough game. That raining sideways, ice cold, sleet, just weird. But yeah,
y'all's last 2 trips up there, y'all's last 2 trips up to Lawrence have been pretty weird, but yeah, so no, I agree, man. Like, obviously, there are no Kansases or Iowa States, with all due respect to those fan bases in the SEC. You're not going to have the, no disrespect to Kansas. I don't know how many they average for a home game, but you're about to walk into environments like you haven't seen in the Big 12, outside of maybe going to Oklahoma or Texas. But let's be honest, our fan bases, I can speak for mine. I'm not sure about yours, but our fan base does not get up for Iowa State or a Kansas the way that I promise you, the way they're about to for all these SEC schools. It's going to be the DKR, to me, man. It can be such an electric place when we have the right opponent in there and we're revved up. And which, shout out CDC, has improved the game day experience and atmosphere, tenfold since he's been here. Sark, and I mean, obviously, winning some football games here lately has helped a little bit with that, but it's about to be bonkers, man. It's about to be nuts for these guys, and you're going to have to bring it when you go to these places. You go travel to Starkville, Mississippi, and play a 4-4 Mississippi State team who went maybe 3-0 against whoever in non-conference, and they're struggling in conference, and you roll in there thinking, hey, we're about to roll over these guys. Now, maybe a bad example of Mississippi State because they're not, I don't think they're at their best. They haven't been where they were. Obviously with Mullen, the Dak years, they've slowly kind of regressed.
Jet sweeps incoming with Jeff Levy. I promise you.
Hey, that obviously we've got something to give that guy, or I'm hoping that we do, man. We've got our history with old Levy, so we'd like to get him back, but we get him in Austin, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, do you make your point? There are no days off. You're gonna have to bring it. The Texas one, it rolled into Tuscaloosa last year, dialed in. Obviously, you have a whole off season to game plan and get ready for that. Sark had worked with Saban. We gave him a great shot the year before. But yeah, I think big games when it matters. I mean, look at how y'all showed up versus us last year. Like I was pretty confident, which is very rare for that game, that we would walk out of there with a win. Not many years that I say, hey, I'm really confident that this happens. And I mean, you kind of punched us in the mouth early. You got a lead. You held on to the lead. We made some mistakes. Y'all made some mistakes. So we kind of kept it right there hanging around. And then obviously, you had the last laugh after we landed a big punch. And so, you have to respect that. But I know that, like you're saying, OU and Texas they're prideful. They're going to show up, man. There's going to be a lot of times where I think if you look at these Vegas lines for these games that are going down, and people are just like, oh, he's going to get curb stomped, and they're going 6-6 and 7-5 at best. Vegas has, I think, Bama's a 2 or 3 point favorite over the Sooners when y'all come to y'all, right?
I think it's 2.
And then.
I've bet a significant amount of money that we cover the 9.5 that Texas is getting. So
okay, maybe we can work out something to do between us.
9.5. We just talked about how they're all one-score games. 9.5 is so much.
Trust me. No, I've sent a few messages in the DMs and group chats that if you're getting in early, that probably would be the
If it were 9.5, if Oklahoma was getting 9.5, I would bet Texas.
Get Texas, yeah. I mean,
like that's just one of the. Why would it's free money at that point, in my opinion, or at least the odds are significantly in your favor. Like I got OU at when they were at 6.5 win total. When the win totals first came out at 6.5, I was like, yeah, please. It got
how long did it?
It got bet up in like 2 days.
I was about to say it couldn't have been up there long. But like LSU, I think is a 1 point favorite over you guys. Y'all have Auburn. I think they're like another very small favorite. So the point is, Oklahoma's going to play in a lot of close games, man, and y'all are going to be in some games. Obviously a lot of people are worried about the O-line. We'll see what it looks like. I like that you kept the style of offense even after losing Levy. I think that obviously it was good for the transition. It's good for recruiting, and also it's a little bit of a nuisance to defend. My guy Tavondre, man, we just struggling up and down there in that second Saturday in October last year. That was tough, but yeah. So back to what you originally said.
Should have just kept him in on defense. Put him in on offense did not work.
Hey, you gotta let the big man eat every now and then, or score, touch the ball, celebrate in the end zone.
No, when he was lead blocker on that infamous 4 downs from the 1.
I honestly, to be real with you, I went to the restroom, really long line. I had no idea what you're talking about. So
weird. Well, we can. I'll have to next time you're on. I can actually switch this screen over. We can watch the replay of all 4 downs from the 1, just so you can see it. I don't want you to miss out on that.
Which play did we score on? Was it first and goal? Second and goal? You're saying 4 plays. Like I'm confused. Like surely we got. You're saying from the 1. So like we got in
weird,
there.
I know. Weird, all those 5 stars. Couldn't get it done. Couldn't get it done. But so we're thinking 2.5. I honestly was thinking 3.5. I know that sounds weird, but it's just, again, we're bringing in more talent than Missouri and Texas A&M did by far. But we're both top 8 in blue chip ratio. I think we're both actually like top 5, right?
It's strong right now, man, and it's been that way for the last couple of seasons, and that's where there's recruiting, and then there's a lot of people, blue chip recruiting is important in the SEC, and you've got to have some dogs, man. That's going to be a war, and we're talking about all these teams we've talked about, all the coaches that you've named. It's going to be wild, brother.
What? Okay, so I got it right here. Okay, so blue chip ratio, you've got Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, ironically Texas A&M, that 2022 class, still doing a lot of lifting.
2022, baby.
Oregon, and then you've got Oklahoma with 1% more blue chips than Texas.
Oh, it's tough.
As I always say, OU just dog walks Texas on the recruiting trail. It's the proof right there. But
there it is.
But no, it's but yeah, we've got the requisite talent to go in there and make some noise, no doubt.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, what do you think A&M's going to do? We'll mute Jay Ward while we talk about his eggs, but his or her eggs, I can't. Okay, his. Sorry, Jay Ward. I didn't want to assume your gender. I know we got some ladies in here as well, but I didn't know. I just didn't want to offend. Anyways. What do you think Mike Elko is going to do down there at A&M?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm going to be paying close attention, man, and watching. I do like Elko as a coach. Part of me wondered when he first got that gig, is it a little too big for him? But obviously, he spent time there as a DC. He was a part of that massive recruiting class. From the early signs, it looks like he's going to be a pretty good recruiter, I'd say. I think that they're working very hard over there in Aggie land to get that roster back in shape, and which I'm not going to say the defensive side's not in shape. I still think they have the pieces with the defensive side, and enough to where it can carry on through the year. I mean, and kind of like we talked about Quinn, it's a huge thing for Wegman as well. If he QB1 and for A&M stays healthy, that game at the end of the year becomes a whole different game, in my opinion. It all kind of, which I mean, we'll
Exciting.
need
That's an
Quinn.
exciting game.
We'll need Quinn, but I think that overall, I mean, I expect A&M to play some really good defense. I think, obviously we saw a little lack in culture after maybe Elko left, Jimbo staying on. Speaking of Jimbo Fisher, I mean, with Texas A&M right now, I do know they need a baseball coach, and considering that this man's already getting paid a pretty hefty sum from that university, I mean, realistically, it could be a fit. Save a little money for all this
Well, I
NIL
mean,
and everything else.
you bring up a good point, right? Trev Alberts did fire like the entire athletic department in order to cut costs. So you may be onto something, because he may be looking to bargain hunt and find somebody that he's already paying a lot of money to go coach something. I do have to apologize to Jay Ward. Jay Ward's comment was next to Emily's comment about Johnny Football. So I have since spotted the Aggie. It is Emily Murray. I feel comfortable assuming her gender. Emily is the Aggie. We found her. So yeah, with Trev firing everybody, I wonder if he took a pay cut. Doubtful. But kind of sounds like, speaking of politics. But yeah, I think I don't know. I'm just so accustomed to A&M never doing anything, so I have zero faith in them whatsoever. I think this baseball season was their best chance at a national championship. It's the only time that they've played for a national championship in a major men's sport since '39, right?
I know they had a really, really good team in '89 baseball, or for baseball. I'm not sure if they played for a title. I know it obviously didn't result in a title, but
they've only had one runner-up in baseball ever, and it was this year.
Okay, well then there you go. I know that was one of the top teams in the country all year long. Obviously not in college hoops, and then obviously not any time in my lifetime as far as college football goes. And so, yeah, I mean, which is crazy to think about that, man. There's a small part of me that at times I actually have so many Aggie friends, family. I do feel bad, and I'm just like, is it forever? But then I think about like Cubs fans and other fans that watch your team suffer for, I mean, almost a century. And I'm just like, well, I mean, I still rather my side win than their side. While I feel bad.
Hey, I'm a Vikings fan. I don't want to hear it. When people talk about, heartbreak and all that stuff. Vikings, hey, we've been to 4 Super Bowls. We've won none of them. The Gary Anderson 98 year with Moss and the boys.
Oh, man. Was that one of our first DMs? I swear we talked about that kick.
Probably.
A child, but yeah, I was a huge Minnesota fan that year, and the Dirty Birds. I mean, yeah, and then they turn around and get whipped in the Super Bowl. I wasn't happy, man, and I think I was a Cowboy fan when I was that age. I have no idea, but the Vikings team was easy to like back then.
Oh, they were so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
And we beat the crap out of the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, so I don't know how you can't like it. Sorry about that, Sooner Cowboys. Sorry for the memories, but that's funny. All right. We're going to go. There's about 10 minutes left in the show. I got to do my my quick plug. Where'd it go? There we go. You Longhorn fans paying attention will enjoy this. This is Righteous Felon beef jerky. If you notice, it's a Longhorn. So all of their please, kids are watching. No gang signs. All of their packaging is different characters of theirs to represent different beef jerky flavors, and it's all Longhorns that are holding up, as if they're getting their mug shot done. So this one is Maryland Monroe Hickory Smoke Show with a kiss of Chesapeake crab spice.
Man, sold.
Great stuff. All their stuff is fantastic. 140 calories a bag, 22 grams of protein. They've got this. They've got biltong. They got all that stuff. You can go to righteousfelon.com and use the promo code Travis, and you get 15% off. And it is delicious stuff. This actually was a gift, Christmas gift, and I liked it so much that I tweeted about it, and they're like, hey, do you want a discount code to share? And I'm like, absolutely. So it's not the all sugar-coated stuff that you get that's like gum. It's just good beef jerky. So check it out.
Cheers.
RighteousFelon.com. Cheers. RighteousFelon.com. Promo code Travis gets you 15% off. Highly, highly recommend it. Is Laced Up Hook'em Lacey?
I would assume so, yes.
I would have to assume so. But regardless, we are going to go to question time. So put your questions in the chat, either for Ghost or myself. Could be anything. Could be I'll answer this question. So I've been fighting this battle with idiots on Facebook all day, which is where the worst sports takes live. Facebook groups. There was an Oklahoma State group that was saying that. So first of all, that Twitter post, original one that got everybody worked up, is it was like, please credit Derico Henrio or whatever. Literally, you go to that page and it's a TCU shit posting, fake account, parody account, purveyor of fake news, all this kind of stuff. So no, not bankrupt at all. Then people were sharing, including friend of the program, Kyle Umlang, was sharing the article that said that Oklahoma was $1 billion in debt. That was from 2018, mainly because if you read the article, it uses our past president's name that was only president for 9 months from mid-2018 to mid-2019. So they were in debt because President Boren, who was a senator, spent money like a politician, like he could just print more, and bought an Italian monastery. And then also he had a housing project that damn near, was lighting money on fire. But schools operate in debt. And I think that's probably what's most important to get out of all this. Universities operate in debt. I think last time I Googled Texas, they were $11 billion in debt. So
couldn't tell you.
It's just a common thing. Like when you go, there's a Fitch.com, Fitch, they do all financial, you can do anything from states to colleges to whatever. And you can find their financial details, Oklahoma State, both in stable financial outlook, according to them. Everything's good. But that was troll job by a TCU shit poster. That was just moved by Kyle and some other some unsavory.
The best part about that was he had literally just got his account back, I think, from a pretty lengthy suspension. And I mean, within a day or two, that blew up. And I was like, this guy, he's got a skill, Right. I did not partake. I don't know if y'all are broke, so I'll refrain from saying that. But sounds cool.
But that's the thing. It's OSU, I think was $850 million in debt at the same time, 86, something like that. Schools operate in debt. Yeah. It just is what it is.
Yeah,
states do too. I don't know if I'm breaking news to you. Maybe Texas doesn't. They got all the money in the world. They can get their own country. But yeah, look at the country. I'm
about to say it's everywhere, man.
All major institutions are in debt. But regardless, OU's fine. They're in, you can go to Fitch, University of Oklahoma, if you would like to read on our finances. It's a state school. All the finances are public information. You can read in there. We had a $2 billion campaign that we've raised, I think $986 million for, that we announced.
Is that the Dominic Williams campaign?
Yeah. $2 billion. He gets, I think 1.2 of that, and his handler gets the other 800 million. So,
man, we're in the wrong thing, man. Gotta get into
exactly. But yeah, so I'm glad you brought up the financial situation, because it is something that I was arguing about all day. So let's see. Jay Ward wants to know what your birthday and social security number are.
He should have both of those already, to be honest. But
I mean, this is simply going to be. I'll put it this way: we're both going to have obvious answers. So, tell me why Texas will have the first SEC title or Natty, and then I'll tell you why OU does. So, just make the case.
My case is going to be really short, but the Arch Manning effect is going to be next level. I know you wanted to hear it. I had to say it. I think that people are going to want to play with Arch. People already are wanting to play with Arch. Arch is very involved in our recruiting process. I think that, and like, I love Quinn. I'm not saying that we can't win a Natty this year. If I had to pick a team to win a Natty, I probably would say go Dogs if I'm having to choose right now. Now, on October 19th, forget them. Screw them. We're coming for you. But I think that Texas wins the first Natty. I know that Texas wins the first Natty. SEC title, I mean, that could be this year, could be next year. I expect I have high expectations for an SEC title and a Natty title and happening soon. Am I guaranteeing it? No, but I think that we'll definitely would be the first of our two schools.
Okay. I will tell you why it's going to be OU.
Okay.
It is interesting that Arch was your main reason. So you think that this happens in the next like 2 years?
I'm saying
like that,
soonish.
Yeah, like this is.
I'm feeling
your
good.
eggs are in that basket. My basket, probably fitting. I'm an Oklahoma fan. We have more big picture things. You guys are real flash in the pan, flash, Austin, Texas. Lambeau's parked out front. All this, that, and the other. It's all about the celebrity, the flash, everything like that in Austin. With me, we slow cook things around here. Make sure that they're set up for the long term. So Brent Venables has won national titles with his defense before at multiple places. It's recruiting is better than it ever was under Riley, and that it was under Stoops late. Obviously, those classes that were anchored by like Adrian Peterson and Rhett Bomar and those kind of guys.
Right. I do agree with you there.
But the Brent Venables, the way he's recruiting, the way he's developing, OU has never won a title not being in a strong conference. OU is back in a strong conference. Quarterback play has not fallen off, even though Lincoln Riley left. Like Lincoln used to, I brought this up on radio yesterday. Lincoln used to recruit the best quarterback in the country and then hope that guy was a good cultural fit. Brent Venables recruits the best possible cultural fit that happens to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Yeah. And I think we saw that with Spencer Rattler.
Absolutely.
That was the number one ranked. I mean, that 2019 class was insane. We had like 3 5-star wide receivers, the top ranked tight end of the country, and the top ranked quarterback in the country, and none of them ended up doing anything. Spencer obviously gone, Stogner gone, then came back, undrafted. Bridges pistol whipped somebody. He's not doing anything. Theo is putting stuff together, actually playing decent at Missouri. Jaden Hazelwood, I think, is modeling now, which he's always been big into fashion. But that's the thing. It's like Brent Venables is just recruiting a different kind of person compared to what Lincoln did. So it was like, while Lincoln had talented teams, like it was just, it just wasn't as buttoned up culturally as it is under Venables. So I think with that, I don't think the offense is falling off. I mean, Jaden O'Neal, obviously you guys got Dia Bell. Like we're still, both of us are recruiting quarterbacks at a crazy level. And I don't think the offense is going to fall off at either place, especially when we got guys that have been there. Bill Bedenbaugh's been there since 2013, has had a Joe Moore Award and multiple just semifinalist, finalist type offensive lines. DeMarco's always going to have a good run game. Emmett Jones, if we can keep him, has been lighting up a wide receiver. So if you tell me we've got good offensive coaching staff, and then Brent Venables is going to be able to have a long-term plan for a defense, then I think that's the recipe for a title at OU. So,
but does that come before Texas gets one? Do you think any part of you think at all? Okay.
Because I don't have faith in Quinn, so I don't think it's going to happen this year.
Fair.
I think it's possible. I think a lot of people want to play with Arch, I don't know if Arch is better than Quinn or is better than what Quinn will be. We've never seen Arch compete at a high level, ever.
I get it, man.
So
I
it's
mean,
like
obviously,
people are putting a lot of eggs into the basket of a last name, which might not be a bad idea. He could be amazing. He could be the future number one pick. There's no way to know. The only problem is we have no way to know right now because he's never played a competitive snap of football. So
he got a half in against Tech since they were down 43 at halftime or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But
I take it back.
It's not fair to say only Arch. I mean, obviously, I've spoken for my love for Sark. I always love Sark by now, but it's the pairing. It's everything that's been building. But I think that is the ultimate effect that gets us to play for a title, or it gets us over the top. I'm not saying Quinn can't do it once again. I don't want it to sound like that. I think we're capable, but we're gonna have to play defense to help Quinn out and get there, and we're gonna have to be healthy. Quinn's gonna have to be healthy.
I've got a question for you, and it's about Sark, and it's a parallel to Lincoln Riley. And I think they share a specific characteristic. Sarkisian recruits quarterbacks at an extremely high level. We know that, right? That is extremely obvious.
Of course.
So I'm going to go to – so I think at times Steve Sarkisian forces his offense through the quarterback for optics. I think he wants his quarterbacks to run up big numbers so he can continue to recruit high-end quarterbacks. And I have one game where I kind of came up with this theory. Oklahoma State 2022.
Oh, God. I knew it, man.
It was the windiest game of the year. Yeah. Windiest game that Texas had played in all year. Do you remember Quinn's completions to attempts?
I want to say something along the lines of 19 for 40 something.
Attaboy. 19 for 49.
49. I knew it was mid to high. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
38.8% completion percentage. He threw 3 picks. Two of them were late. One of them lost the game to Kendall Daniels.
Yeah.
You had the best running back in the country. The only running back in Texas history that has truly scared me is Bijan Robinson. And in a windy game against an opponent that can't touch Bijan Robinson, they aired it out with Quinn Ewers 49 times. He threw 3 picks to 2 touchdowns, 38.8% completion percentage, lost that game, and which was a big game for you guys. And I think at times you see Sark forcing the offense through the air when you've got a great offensive line and a great running back room. So I think that's where Sark has to grow a little bit is, look, dude, at times you just got to lean on your strengths. And Quinn, obviously, the whole first year, Quinn was not a strength of the team. It was Bijan Robinson. And at times last year, the run game was a strength, but he forces it through Quinn, and I think that could be problematic. So what do you think on just the specific accusation that Steve Sarkisian tends to force his offense through the quarterback in order to pump the quarterback's numbers up so he can continue to recruit 5-star quarterbacks?
I will have a little bit of a defense for the Stillwater Nightmare in 2022. Like you said, super windy day. Now, if you go look at the stats in that game, we did put up some yards on the ground and we had a couple big runs, but all that came early. I think the stats are somewhat skewed. They really did didn't completely shut down Bijan and Roschon in the second half, but they took us away. I can't remember us busting like a double-digit run in the second half, but then again, I haven't watched that in 2 years. But they did really, take advantage of the fact that, hey, Quinn is off. It's windy. We're going into the wind. Like, any defensive coordinator right there is licking his chops. He's like, if we've ever had a chance to stop Bijan Robinson, it's right now. And so yeah, that was a tough game to watch because you're watching from the TV and like, yeah, you can understand it's windy and you're like, why are we continuously just throwing the ball? But on the outside, you're getting one-on-one matchups. Were we executing on any of them? No, that was tough to watch, man. Now, as far as an overall accusation, I probably would need to see a little bit more evidence. I do know that Sark loves to take shots. He is a fan of taking the deep shot. I think
that is not for those of you in the chat. That's not an alcohol joke. He likes to take shots down the field.
Down the field.
Jeez.
Sorry. Y'all know I wouldn't do that.
You don't want to get clipped, man. Somebody will clip that and be like, bro, goes to Texas up here.
Yeah, you're not
making jokes about Sark.
This is my first podcast. Got to be a little bit more careful, obviously. I wasn't even
thinking about that.
One of the only times that I kind of clap back at people on the timeline is in regards to people bringing that stuff up and look at me. Mm-hmm. But no, the overall accusation, I probably need to see a little bit more evidence. I was happy that we came out in the second half of, the Sugar Bowl. We're tied at 21.5. We get in there, we kind of played sloppy to start. Was really ecstatic to be in a tie game going into the half. And we do try to run the ball in the second half, and it just backfires. We fumbled twice on our own territory, and we just put ourselves back in another hole. But I do think that Sark will take many deep balls in games. I think he's going to sit there and trust his quarterbacks as part of his scheme. When you're defending deep balls, then all of a sudden, when you're worried about that and you're just literally worried about just getting pegged over the top, I mean, the rest of the game becomes a lot easier as a play caller and as a quarterback. And so I don't know about that accusation. I have to see a little bit more evidence before I can, I'll be real with you if I thought so, but I need to see a little bit more.
Now that I've put it in your head, now that I've planted the seed, now you're gonna watch for it and be like, all right, we got some dudes. Maybe we should run the ball a little bit more because I think he's got a little Kyle Shanahan in him, man. I think Kyle Shanahan did that, right? He's done it multiple times in Super Bowls
where he just the Niners to win both of those so bad, and now
right, but he gets away. Kyle. If you're not going to run the ball when you have Christian McCaffrey in the backfield just ripping off big like chunk run after chunk run, and instead you're going to hand the ball to Brock Purdy to try and go seal the game, like what are you doing? You have a lead and you have the best running back in the NFL. This is why you went to get him, was for this moment. Hand him the ball. Like, so I'm just, hey, Kyle Shanahan, Steve Sarkisian, they might be the same guy. I don't know.
You'll appreciate this. I actually I owe Twitter from the Super Bowl for I haven't paid up on my debt to them. I was so confident that the 49ers were just going to smack the Chiefs around. I was very confident. Very rarely do I go out and make, like I told you, I took Texas by 17 over OU last October. Like I very, very rarely do things like that. But that was just a prediction. For the Super Bowl, I was adamant, like they're going to smoke Kansas City. And I said that if they did not and the Chiefs won, that I would rage sing Taylor Swift on video, put it on the timeline. So still owe them that. We'll follow through. We'll do it, man. But
you got to dress up as a ghost when you do it, though.
I almost put on a ghost sheet or something, but I don't know if I don't want to get in trouble. But I do try to lean into the image a little bit. We have a little fun, so
you can't be wearing a white hood saying Sark's taking shots.
I'm not trying to get canceled. It's been a fun 2.5 years, so I'll miss you guys. But
yeah, I invited you onto the podcast just to get you canceled.
It's a good trap. I got to respect it. It was JP's idea, wasn't it? It's because like when I first had my account, he was talking about hoops, and I was like, DM me. I will play you for any amount of money in 21, or we can play to 11. I was talking mad trash to him, and he didn't respond to me. And I'm pretty sure it was in the DMs, but I remember he was like, we would have no chance talking him through the comments. So the next time you see him, tell me if he wants to, shoot some buckets at the state fair. I do have glass ankles, so but we'll get out there one time.
I'll let him know for sure. Well. We're about 10 minutes over, but we were having good conversation. Want to thank you for coming on. This was a ton of fun. Want to thank all of our new friends, Gage and Emily and Jay Ward and Adam and I know I'm forgetting Ingrid. I'm forgetting some of you. I laced up. Appreciate you guys jumping in. If you guys would do me a favor before you leave, like the video. It's free.
Like
free
the video.
99. Free 99. Nothing in this world is free. Nothing except liking this video. So like the video. Again, appreciate it. And Yeah. Any last words for the JP and Trav audience?
Thanks to both you gentlemen, JP. Hope the event went well. Trav, thank you for letting me come on, brother. Anytime you guys want me, I'm down to do it again. I'm tell you one thing, man. We're coming for that backside in October. So think about it. Be ready for it. I know you'll be watching from a really great spot, but we're coming, man.
Yep. I will recommend you all wear your sunscreen for that one. I will. I will not be. I will be enjoying some barbecue, tipping off scouts to the next big thing. I don't know. I might be a scout next year. I have no idea. I mean,
Calling,
things could get crazy. I
talking
am
about
this week. I am announcing a new gig I've been working on from behind the scenes. So I'm excited about that. So y'all have to stay tuned. But anyways, appreciate you coming. Again, appreciate all of the all of the loyal JP and Trav viewers. Sooner Cowboys, Les, Topher, Boomer 129, Steven, PSS, all y'all that always come through. And then again, all you Texas A&M fans, appreciate y'all. Appreciate you.
thank you.
Until we meet again, Boomer.
Hook 'em, baby.